President Biden is taking a victory lap as the latest report from the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows 30 straight months of job gains and inflation hitting its lowest point in 2 years. The president tweeted yesterday, "We've helped create over 13 million new jobs, including over 800,000 manufacturing jobs. The unemployment rate has remained below 4% for 17 months. Inflation has come down by more than half. It's no mistake. Bidenomics is working." Joining me now, Jared Bernstein, chair of the White House Council of Economic Advisors. Jared, welcome. Have you ever been on this show?
Oh, yes, I've been here before.
Well, at least once before. Welcome back.
Oh, it's great to be back.
To the Sunday show. So those are great numbers that the president is talking about there. Two questions. First, should we still be worried about a recession? Because I'm old enough to remember people saying, and Wall Street saying, we're going to have a recession in 23. We're going to have a recession in 23. Are we going to have a recession in 23?
Well, many of those calls have been dialed back because we have some real momentum in this economy now. When you have inflation on a yearly basis falling 12 months in a row, down 2/3 from where it was a year ago, when you have years of strong job gains, you know, our economy is about 70% consumer spending. So when you have a strong labor market providing consumers with some buying power, that gives the economy growth momentum. And quarter after quarter, we've seen positive growth rates. So look, we live in a period of considerable uncertainty. So, I think forecasting can be a challenging game. But I do look at that kind of momentum, and I like where we are in that regard.
Okay. And the part two of the question, which I now realize you're probably not going to be able to answer, but I'll ask it anyway. Given all that great economic news, why isn't it benefiting the president when it comes to getting credit from the American people?
Well, actually, the president does get more credit than that when you look at some of the granular policies that he's put forth, and I'll get to that in a second. But I think the fact is, Jonathan, that Americans have been through a ton. You know well, you've been reporting on it over the past few years. I mean, a pandemic of a magnitude we haven't seen for a century, global inflation, snarled supply chains across the globe, a horrific invasion of the sovereign nation of Ukraine. All of this has, I think, weighed on public sentiment. And the whole time, President Biden has kept his head down with one goal in particular, which is to uplift the, to uplift the economic conditions of the middle class amidst all this. And there we've made real progress, whether it's the job gains we were just talking about or inflation finally breaking that fever and down 2/3 over the past year. We're finally seeing real wage gains, and that's near term.
You see that on the screen right there.
Well, that's right. Mm-hmm. And over the longer term, we have Bidenomics in action, creating investments that are going to have lasting impacts on the American economy. And people are starting to see that, whether we're talking about the 35,000 projects that are afoot in 4,500 communities across the country. You know, I think that that's starting just now to be reflected in some of these sentiment measures. You know, we just saw the University of Michigan sentiment pop up in this month. So I think some of these measures are beginning to take effect in people's consciousness.
You know, the Federal Reserve has signaled it intends to get inflation down to 2%. What's the White House position about that inflation target? Is it time to consider a slightly higher target?
Our position regarding that point and pretty much anything else having to do with the Federal Reserve's monetary policy is to stay the heck out of their knitting. I mean, the president said years since he took office, unlike his predecessor, I'm not going to get up in their grill. I'm going to let them do what they need to do when it comes to inflation reduction. And certainly they've been working hard in that regard. And again, getting back to the experience of everyday folks. When you have, there's something kind of unusual going on in this economy. When you have inflation falling as quickly as it's been, you know, it was 9% a year ago, it's 3%, as you've mentioned now. Typically, that kind of a decline in inflation is accompanied by a worsening of economic growth and a worsening of unemployment, rising unemployment, and worse results in the job market. A softening economy is usually what it takes to get inflation down that far. We have not seen that. And so the combination of a strong labor market and declining inflation has meant something we've really been looking for a while, which is rising pay. And, you had a slide on that a second ago. If you look at the 80% of the workforce that's blue collar, that's non-manager, middle paid workers, their pay is up 1.6% over the past year. It's up almost 3% since pre-pandemic. And, that kind of buying power, again, feeds back into the economy, helping to push the kind of momentum we've seen.
Real quickly, in the 30 seconds we have left, the nomination of Julie Su as the Secretary of Labor is stalled. Your message, if you have one, to senators who might be sitting on the fence about whether to support her.
Get off the fence and support Julie Su. It's that simple a message. If you have any question about her ability to do this job, look at the fact that she's been doing it so effectively for months on end. And she was, of course, the deputy secretary before she was acting secretary. And I am kind of in awe of the work that she quietly and efficiently gets done on behalf of not just the labor force, but on behalf of businesses and the American economy writ large. This is a key component of Bidenomics, putting the right people in the right place to deliver for the American households. That's what this president is standing for, and that's why he's nominated Julie Su to that position.